Yeah, it was the Ford Local 600. But he never was an officer or anything with the union, but he was extremely supportive of the union. And he would talk about the goon squads and you know, the problems that they were having unionizing the plant and things like that.
What kind of problems would they have?
Well, the people would get into physical confrontations about whether the union should be there or not. And the goon squads, of course, were hired by the Ford Motor Company to break up the organizers, you know, when they would rally or meet or whatever. Now, the producing, you know, I've produced the Afro-American Music Festival here on Hart Plaza since 1973, where the organization has, and I've been the executive producer. But Elaine Ford, another West Sider, and I decided we wanted to produce an operetta. And we proceeded to do that. We got the curtains, the old curtains from the, you know, our parents, and we made the costumes, and we tore up paper and made the tickets. And but this was Father Dade really encouraged that, and we wound up producing this operetta that Elaine Ford and I wrote in the St. Cyprian's Church Hall, and the hall was full of people that came to us, you know, came to see our production. But that was because of Father Dade. It was an operetta about a young girl whose name was Juanita, and of course there was the love story, you know, with the not the prince, but I guess the knight in shining armor, so to speak. And so my dad got on at Ford, you know, and he was there for a while, and in the foundry, of course. And then he decided that he wanted to do better than that, so he went to Ford Trade School. And my dad was going to school, you know, part of that time when I was growing up. And he became, I think, the first black tool and die maker in at the Ford Rouge plant. We did a lot of things, and my dad loved to go to the midnight show. And sometimes he would take us to the midnight show, you know, down on Woodward. There were shows down there, and you know, all of those theaters turned into like the girly places and what have you. But we used to go to the midnight show sometime. And I never will forget the night we got locked out of the car, and it took hours, and it was freezing, and my brother and I were standing there shivering, and at any rate, he finally got somebody with a coat hanger and was able to get in. You know, that's when we had those Model Ts, and you know, those old the beginning of the cars. And my dad was pretty loyal to the Ford company because he worked there. I really can't remember anything. There was so much, you know, like this was our daily fare at the dinner table, where Dad would talk about the management. It seems like the management there was pretty fair, but it was the workers that, you know, exhibited the racism mostly. And sometimes it was necessary for management to step in or make a decision or whatever. And he was always generally he felt that the management was fair. The art, because I became a fashion designer. I did that for a while, and the producing, that was one of the things that came, of course, out of the church, originally at St. Cyprian's Church, where I studied ballet there. And of course, later I became the dance director for the city of Detroit. Um, then it was at when I was older at Bethel AME Church. The major places where um, young people had an opportunity to participate in the arts back in those days was through the church.